Today on the deep dive, we are unpacking, well, arguably the most successful, most manipulative, and definitely the most beloved non-human creature in history,
The domestic cat.
the domestic cat. I mean, we're looking at a species that hasn't just lived alongside us. It has actively shaped our history, our belief systems, our laws.
And now, our entire luxury goods market, it's a genuine cultural phenomenon woven through millennia.
Yeah, and that's a powerful way to put it. And it's totally accurate, isn't it, when you look at the sources we have, which are surprisingly varied.
Right. I mean, one comes from a gem and jewelry information center of all places.
Exactly. And what stands out is the cat's incredible adaptability.
Mhm.
Humans have projected, well, every extreme onto this animal.
From absolute godhood and sacred reverence,
Mhm.
all the way down to, being seen as agents of pure malice. And now, a commercial muse.
And that source context is really the key to our mission today, I think. We're tracking this remarkable transformation. How does an animal go from being a creature whose death could get you the death penalty
And one civilization, yeah.
to becoming a global icon of luck in another? And then eventually the ultimate fluffy boss that inspires diamond-encrusted jewelry.
It's a journey that says so much about human culture itself. We're going to cover that extreme reverence, the symbols of fortune, the dark ages of feline persecution, and its modern dominance.
Okay, let's unpack this. If we're talking reverence, we have to start at the absolute apex of feline worship.
We absolutely must. We have to begin in antiquity and just acknowledge that the bond between humans and cats has influenced culture for thousands and thousands of years.
But no nation codified that reverence, that relationship, quite like ancient Egypt.
Not even close.
They didn't just like cats, they fully integrated them into their religious framework.
Hmm.
They saw the cat not just as a helpful pet, but as a sacred animal.
And its very life had national importance. That divine connection is so critical here. The cat was seen as the earthly representative of the goddess Bastet.
The deity of love, fertility, and protection.
That's her, often shown with the head of a cat on a woman's body. And once you elevate an animal to that divine level, the rules and the political consequences, they just change dramatically.
I find the specifics of Egyptian law here absolutely staggering. It wasn't just a cultural preference, it was state-enforced protection. Capital punishment level protection.
It was absolute. Because the cat was so sacred, a strict law forbade anyone from harming one. And violating that law, it meant the death penalty.
Just imagine the weight of that. You accidentally run over a cat with your chariot.
Your life is forfeit. That level of reverence tells you the animal was so much more than just a pest controller. It was a cornerstone of their spiritual world.
And the mourning rituals, that really drive home how deeply they were integrated into the family unit.
Oh, absolutely. When a family's cat died, even from natural causes, every human member was required to shave their heads.
As a sign of public mourning. I mean, what's the psychological impact of having to visibly display that grief to your entire community?
It demonstrated both your piety and your integration into society's norms. It cemented the cat's place not as property, but as a protected member of the family linked to the divine.
And this belief system, of course, carried on into the afterlife.
Of course, they mummified cats, we have the archaeological evidence in spades, to ensure they had eternal life right alongside their human companions.
Now, I have to ask, doesn't that intense spiritual reverence sort of contradict the cat's incredibly practical role? They revered them as gods, but they also needed them to do a dirty job.
That is an excellent point, and it speaks to the dualistic thinking of the time. The Egyptians were, above all, pragmatic. They absolutely utilized the cat's natural hunting instinct.
Right, they needed them.
They were essential for eliminating rats, mice, and, venomous snakes. These were constant threats to their stored grain, their entire agricultural output.
So this utility, protecting the very foundation of their civilization's food supply, that likely provided the initial spark.
I think so. That immense value then ballooned into religious veneration. They saved the harvest, which in their eyes was an act worthy of a god.
So the cat was both the most effective pest control and a sacred icon, a dual role.
Precisely. And that's what cemented its value and its lasting legacy. And that thread of cultural significance, it doesn't just end when Egypt falls. It just pivots.
It's hard to imagine moving on from that kind of life or death reverence, but history rarely stays put. Let's shift our focus east to Japan, where the cat story turns completely toward fortune and luck.
Right. In Japanese culture, the cat is highly, highly valued. It's often seen as a really potent symbol of good luck and prosperity.
believed to attract wealth and fortune to their owners, to their businesses.
Yeah, and this brings us to what is maybe the most recognizable cat icon in the world, outside of the internet anyway. The
Yeah.
Maneki Neko.
The beckoning cat statue, you see it everywhere, in stores, restaurants, all over the globe.
It's ubiquitous, and the backstory is just wonderful. The legend often traces back to a temple, like the Gutokuji Temple in Tokyo.
What's the story there?
Well, a stray cat supposedly beckoned a feudal lord to take shelter right before a massive lightning strike. The cat saved his life, and in gratitude, the lord enshrined the cat.
So that waving paw isn't just a cute wave.
No, it's a gesture of welcome. It's drawing in customers, drawing in good luck.
Here's where it gets really interesting, connecting those, regional beliefs to a piece of global folklore. Japan elevated the cat for fortune, and globally we adopted this myth of the cat having 9 lives.
That belief is so profound because it turns the cat into a universal symbol of resilience, rebirth, and just incredible toughness.
And it's not arbitrary, is it? It's rooted in observation.
Not at all. The 9 lives myth comes directly from the cat's agility, its uncanny ability to survive falls that would be fatal for almost any other animal.
And that belief feeds directly into consumer behavior, right? The notes mention this fueled the idea of carrying cat amulets or symbols.
Correct. If a creature can cheat death 9 times, well, its image becomes powerful protective magic. People sought out these charms to ward off danger and promote their own longevity.
So the cat's image becomes an active participant in human protection.
Just like its hunting skills were in Egypt, it's a different kind of protection, but the core idea is the same.
What's fascinating here, though, is how quickly the narrative can turn. It goes from a divine protector to a lucky charm, but its story is not all positive. We have to address the dark associations that came up elsewhere.
Absolutely. The cat is the ultimate cultural chameleon. Its independence and its nocturnal nature, which were seen as mysterious and powerful in Egypt, they were interpreted as sinister in later European history.
Man, the cat's reputation just tanked hard in Europe. Talk about a public relations crisis driven by superstition.
It really did. During the European Middle Ages, beliefs shifted dramatically. They weren't Bastet's representatives anymore. They were cast as agents of evil.
Capable of communicating with spirits and infamously associated with witches and warlocks.
Exactly. The independent, sometimes aloof nature of the cat made it seem like it was consorting with dark powers.
Which led to intense fear and, tragically, massive persecution. Cats were sometimes hunted and executed as part of the broader witch hysteria.
Which is such a stark contrast to a death penalty existing to protect them. The contrast couldn't be sharper.
Where Egypt saw a divine protector of grain, medieval Europe saw a dark familiar.
And that negativity wasn't just confined to medieval Europe. The sources mention other negative stereotypes that are still out there globally.
Can you give us some examples of that?
Well, the research points out that some Native American tribes historically believed cats had special powers they used to curse humans. And even today, in modern societies, including parts of Thailand, there's a belief that cats, especially black cats, can bring bad luck.
The fluidity of human belief is just astounding.
It is. The exact same creature is simultaneously a symbol of the highest spiritual good and the deepest evil, all depending on where and when you're looking.
What an insane journey from a mummified deity to a persecuted familiar. So let's make that final leap. How do we get from that complicated dark past to the modern reality, where the cat is simply the undisputed fluffy boss of the household?
Fluffy boss. I love that.
Yeah.
The modern transformation is really the triumph of affection, domestication, and frankly, global media.
The internet.
The internet. The cat has moved on from being an agricultural protector or a curse springer to the beloved, affectionate pet that demands this devoted, almost servile relationship from us. The entire cultural output of the web basically validates the idea that we are happily slaves to our pets.
And this is where we finally bring it all back to that intriguing source, the Gem and Jewelry Information Center. The cat's value is no longer just tied to divinity or luck.
No, it's been translated fully into commercial inspiration, into luxury goods.
This is critical. Why do luxury brands care about the cat?
Because the cat's image has enduring symbolic value in the market. It represents mystery, independence, a certain regal aloofness. These are qualities consumers are willing to pay a premium for.
So whether the consumer is buying based on ancient beliefs like luck or just pure modern affection for their pet,
The cat is a universally recognized muse. It sells.
And the sources give us specific high-end examples of this. We're talking about legacy luxury houses using the cat's image for serious collections.
Exactly. I mean, take, for example, the pin created by Cartier, a piece crafted from 18-karat gold, lavishly decorated with Amazonite and ruby.
This isn't some novelty item.
No, this is high-value bespoke jewelry using the cat as its central motif.
Then you have brands catering to a slightly different market, like Zales, with a cat pendant and necklace, diamonds set on a 10-karat rose gold body.
And even venerable firms like Tiffany and Company have offered highly desirable silver cat pins.
These pieces just perfectly illustrate the enduring power of the symbol, don't they?
They do. The image of the cat, the creature that literally saved the pharaoh's grain supply, is now a highly valued luxury motif. The perceived royalty, the mystery, and the modern cuteness all come together to give it extraordinary aesthetic and financial value.
So if we synthesize this whole journey, the cat's cultural significance is, well, it's truly unparalleled. It went from being the subject of life or death law in Egypt to a protector of civilization, then a symbol of extreme bad luck, and finally a modern luxury accessory.
Its multiple roles just highlight how fluid and contradictory human belief systems can be when faced with an animal this complex.
So what's the final takeaway here?
This raises an important question, something for you to mull over as you see cats and cat symbols in your daily life. Consider this. The cat was initially valuable because it solved a massive existential threat: vermin control. It protected our food and allowed civilization to flourish.
We owe a historical debt to the species.
We really do. And now the cat is valuable on a Cartier pin, or as a beloved fluffy boss we pamper unconditionally. Is the price of that luxury pin, or the devotion we offer, an unconscious acknowledgement of that deep, multi-layered historical debt humanity owes this animal for protecting the very foundation of our earliest societies?
That is a brilliant way to frame it. The next time you see a mannequineko in a shop window or a silver cat pin being advertised,
You're not just looking at a cute object.
you're looking at a history that spans from the Nile's granaries right up to the world's most expensive design houses. It's remarkable how much history fits inside one tiny purring package.
Truly remarkable. That's all for this deep dive.